Lubbock and Amarillo on the map are a little less than 2 hours apart, but if you're thinking about moving to West Texas, those 120 miles might make a world of a difference. Today in this video, I'm going to be talking about Lubbock and Amarillo, and I'm going to be looking at these two cities side by side. I'm going to be looking at things like cost of living, job opportunities, lifestyle, weather, and of course, who each city is more tailored around for. And we're going to get after it right now. Hey, I'm Sam Riddle, a Lubbock local real estate agent here, and I help people just like you make their move to Lubbock, Texas, and I absolutely love it. So if you have questions about Lubbock specifically or Amarillo, which I know a lot of you are looking between Lubbock and Amarillo, well then I'd love to help answer those questions because where you live in Texas definitely matters, and depending on what you're looking for, Lubbock might be better or Amarillo might be better. So we're gonna kick it off by starting with location. Now, Lubbock and Amarillo are a little under 2 hours apart. Amarillo definitely sits more northwest of Texas, and it is going to have more of that nostalgic, high plains, chill vibe. It's right off of Route 66, which gives it that nostalgic feel. More laid back, more low key. However, Lubbock is going to be about 120 miles south of Amarillo, and we are really driven and anchored by Texas Tech University. Texas Tech brings in tens of thousands of students each and every year, and they really do bring in a lot of the city's energy, especially around the fall time. Amarillo is going to be a lot closer to the Oklahoma border than we are, hence Northwest Texas, and we are going to be a little bit closer to the New Mexico border. You know, both Amarillo and Lubbock are still Northwest Texas, and I'm going to get into the weather a little bit later because the weather really does change within those 2 hour differences between Lubbock and Amarillo. But if you're really looking to be a little bit more connected, a little bit more higher energy buzz feel, that's going to be Lubbock. If you're wanting more low-key nostalgic feel, that's going to be Amarillo. Now let's talk about cost of living in comparison to houses. So cost of living in Amarillo is definitely going to come out ahead. If you are looking for a little bit more wider open spaces, you're looking for more maturity, you're looking for more mature, older homes, Amarillo is definitely going to be that for you. It is not growing as rapidly as Lubbock. Their average home prices are around $190,000. We're here in Lubbock, our average home price is going to be a little bit higher on the $250,000, $260,000 price point. We have a lot more growth here in Lubbock that's happening very rapidly. So we're going to see a lot more new construction, a lot more move-in ready homes at that $260,000 price point. And so if you're wanting more of that new move-in ready home in a newer subdivision, that's going to be Lubbock for you. If you're wanting your dollar to stretch a little bit further, well, that's definitely going to be Amarillo. You might have a little bit more wide open spaces. Not to say that Lubbock obviously also has wide open spaces too, but your dollar might stretch a little bit further in the Amarillo side of things. That same thing goes for rent. If you're looking to rent and you have a slightly lower budget, Amarillo might be a more affordable place for you, or Lubbock rents tend to be a little bit higher, especially if you're looking for a newer move-in ready home. Okay, so now let's get into the vibe of each city, which I know that's what you're looking for. You want to figure out if Lubbock is better or if Amarillo is better. And honestly, it's going to come down to the vibe and what you specifically are looking for. Now, I obviously don't live in Amarillo. I live in Lubbock. I have friends that live in Amarillo, and I do keep up with the Amarillo market. I do understand what's going on in the Amarillo world. However, I will say, being a Lubbockite, we are like a city on the rise. You know, we have new retail, new coffee shops, new restaurants popping up everywhere. And it's not just centrally located downtown. We have newer restaurants and retail popping up on the south side of town, off of Milwaukee. We have restaurants and retail popping up off of Slide, off of Indiana. I mean, from west to south to central, we have the downtown revitalization project is happening downtown. So there are a lot of things coming to Lubbock, and it's not just centrally located. So if you're looking for more of that energy, more things to do, more concerts to go to, more restaurants, more Friday night or Saturday night football games, you know, that's gonna be Lubbock. But if you're wanting more of that nostalgia, low key, lower energy vibe, well then that's going to be Amarillo. It's not growing as quickly as Lubbock. You're not going to see new restaurants continually popping up every single week or every single month. I mean, you are going to have some newer restaurants, you are going to have some newer retail, don't get me wrong. But if you are really wanting to keep up with the high energy, fast pace, but not be in the major cities of Texas, well, it's going to be Lubbock. Amarillo is just going to be very low key, very chill vibes, which is nothing's wrong with that, but it just kind of depends on what you're looking for. So now let's talk about things to actually do in each city. Now, Amarillo has a few hidden gems. One of those hidden gems is going to be Paladaro Canyon. Technically, it's in Canyon, Texas. Yes, I know, in Amarillo, but it's very close to Amarillo. And it is the second largest canyon in the US compared next to the Grand Canyon. So people love to go camping there. It is so much fun. It's beautiful. You can go there for the day. You can go there in a camper. They even have horseback riding trips. They have so many awesome campsites. They have so many camping trails, so many trails to hike. It is so cool. I'm going to show you all these pictures of Paladaro Canyon, and it is just absolutely stunning. It's definitely a bucket list. Even if you choose Lubbock versus Amarillo, you have to go to Paladaro Canyon. Next is a lot of more touristy stops in Amarillo. You have Cadillac Ranch, you have Route 66, you have the Big Tex Steakhouse, which if you don't know what that is, it's in a lot of history, it's in a lot of old Western movies, it's in a lot of funny movies. It is essentially a restaurant where you go in and they time you to eat this huge steak with sides and rolls and mashed potatoes. It's a whole thing. You sit up on the stage, you eat it, and you have a certain amount of time to eat all this food. And if you do, you get it for free. If not, you gotta pay for it. But it's a really cool little restaurant. So they have a lot of touristy sites that a lot of people love to go to in Amarillo. Lubbock, on the other hand, we have a lot of tourist sites too. I know I've mentioned this in one of my videos, some things to do here in Lubbock, some of those awesome touristy spots we have here. You know, Prairie Dog Town, we have the Wind Museum, the Buddy Holly, the World War II Museum, and we have so many museums here in Lubbock and a lot of history, which is pretty awesome. But aside from that, we have a lot of things to do as for families as well too. We have a lot of concerts that are put on here in Lubbock. We have Texas Tech football, Texas Tech games, all the Texas Tech sporting events that come with living in a college town. We have lots of theater nights. We have lots of music nights in the Depot District. We have the Buddy Holly Performing Arts Center, which is downtown Lubbock. It's this amazing venue that they built a few years ago, and so we have lots of theater events, musical events, live shows that come to Lubbock specifically perform there. Ballet Lubbock, you know, we have comedy shows. There's so many things, farmers markets, which I know Amarillo has a lot of those too, but you're gonna have a lot more things to do on the weekends. You're gonna have a lot more connections if you are a younger family, if you are looking to have that family connection, that more community feel, that's gonna be your Lubbock. But if you are okay with just a few touristy sites and, you know, a few farmers markets here and there, and just kind of, like I said, I keep reiterating myself, but that small town vibe, well, that's gonna be Amarillo. Lubbock definitely is gonna have a lot more things to do, like I just mentioned, in terms of weekends, Saturdays with the family. Okay, so now let's talk about climate. Our two climates are pretty similar. I mean, we are still both Northwest Texas, and you can expect snow in both Lubbock and Amarillo. You can expect it to get cold in both Lubbock and Amarillo, but I will say Amarillo does get a little bit more snow than Lubbock. It does get a little bit colder than Lubbock, and so if you are wanting more snow, more colder temperatures, Amarillo's your city. Lubbock just gets a little bit less mild winters. We get a little bit less snow, but I mean, to each and all, we still have very bipolar weather. We get all 4 seasons in one day. So if you're comparing climates both to Amarillo versus Lubbock, we are going to be very, very similar. Now let's talk about job opportunities in each city. You know, Lubbock has Texas Tech University, which employs a lot of people. So education is huge in Lubbock. And then also too, so is the healthcare system. We have UMC and Covenant, which are huge, huge hospitals in the northwest region of Texas and in some parts of New Mexico and Oklahoma. And so that employs a lot of people. Third would be agriculture, and then also too entrepreneurism. You know, if you are in any of those 4 sectors, that is really what's driving a lot of our economy here in Lubbock. Now Amarillo, on the other hand, a lot of people don't realize this, but yes, agriculture is huge in Amarillo, just the same as Lubbock, but also too, so is meat packing. They have a huge meat packing facility, and they also have a very large nuclear weapons facility, which most people don't realize is in Amarillo. A lot of high-paying jobs over in that area. So if you are in that sector of employment, that's huge for you. That's sometimes why a lot of people do go to the Amarillo area. If you are not retired and you don't want, and you are not working, then obviously that doesn't apply to you. But if you are moving into the Amarillo area, those are a few of the job opportunities that are driving a lot of the economy over in Amarillo. which I think is very interesting. And a fun fact, it has nothing to do with Amarillo or Lubbock, but Abilene is getting the largest AI headquarters in the US right now, which is still West Texas considered, and that's gonna be huge. So, I mean, Abilene is definitely not growing as fast as Lubbock or Amarillo, but Abilene is getting this huge AI facility, which if you haven't heard about it, you should definitely go Google it because it is wild. It is gonna be, it's so crazy that it's here in our own backyard. Anyway, sidetracked, let's move on to my next point. So my last point is really who each city is tailored for. You know, I've talked about things that may not be applicable to you if you are retiring in either one of the cities or if you're just looking to be in Northwest Texas. But really, who is each city more tailored for? And I think you've kind of picked up on Lubbock is going to be more for that person who wants a younger crowd or wants to be in a city that does have a lot of energy, a lot of new growth, a lot of things happening, a lot more options to choose from when it comes to entertainment, when it comes to lifestyle, when it comes to things to do and growth. That's gonna be your Lubbock. That's gonna be more fast-paced. Still slower than a lot of the other major cities in Texas, of course. That's why people like living in Lubbock. But Amarillo is going to be a lot more slower pace. Like I've said throughout this video, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. If you are more towards the nostalgia, history, slower pace alive, a community, you still have that community feel in both Lubbock and in Amarillo, don't get me wrong, then that's gonna be Amarillo, you know, but either choice is not a bad choice at all. You know, it really is just gonna come down to what you are looking for in a community and who you wanna be surrounded by, what you wanna be surrounded by. I will say the community here in Lubbock, as a younger professional here that is a mom, I have a mom community, I have a professional community, and I have my friends. You know, you definitely have each community here in Lubbock, so you have a ton of different options when it comes to friends and opportunities and fun things to do here. So if you found this video helpful, or if you have any questions about Lubbock or Amarillo, please let me know in the comments, and I'd be more than happy to get to know you and help you make that smooth transition to Lubbock or answer any questions about either of the cities. Until next time, I'll see you around.